Hello, I'm Larson Halleck, and welcome back to Manthropology. Yes, you read that title right. Incest is relative. Yeah, I don't blame you. Consanguinity is the verbal equivalent of garbage water. Why the hell would I ever want to talk about that? Because it is a very bad thing that might explain a few of the problems that currently plague the world. What do I mean? Let's explore. So first of all, can we all just agree that inbreeding is really bad? Every person's genotype has a couple of genes that suck, but since those genes are usually recessive, that means they won't express themselves because of course you need 2 copies of a recessive gene for its corresponding karyotype to express itself. The problem is, said harmful gene variants tend to cluster into families or tribes, hence things like the West African tendency for sickle cell anemia or the Ashkenazi Jewish tendency towards Tay-Sachs disease. So when you keep it in the family, you thus increase the chances of negative genes being expressed. So incest will thus lead to an increased chance of various congenital diseases and birth defects, and the more generations that are consanguineous, the more fucked up they're gonna get. And then you get into Habsburg territory, and that's just not good. Thanks for the Genetics 101 lesson, Larson. You might be asking why I bothered making this video. And the reason is to debunk one stereotype and posit a theory afterwards. First, the debunking. It has for many years been a common stereotype of people from the southern United States and other rural regions. They're all inbred to various degrees. In recent years, this stereotype seems to have spread to all white people as part of the overarching hysterical shrieking about white people that defines most of modern culture. Well, I hate to disappoint the stank-faced, ambiguously brown people that control modern discourse, but that does not hold up to statistics. In fact, the United States has one of the lowest rates of inbreeding of all the countries in the world, so much so that it's practically non-existent. In contrast, we can observe it happening fairly frequently in other countries, moderate amounts in Asia and Latin America, and holy shit, the Middle East and North Africa. There is in fact so much incest going on in the Middle East, in the greater Arab world, that there has been serious consideration to the idea that a major reason for why the region is as crappy as it is today is because of the sheer preponderance of interfamily fucking. Okay, I know, the legacy of colonialism has a lot to do with it, and the Sykes-Picot Agreement and all that stuff. All those things have caused many a problem as well, and in the case of Iraq, the embargo that Madeleine Albright championed led to a lot of malnutrition, and malnutrition, particularly childhood malnutrition, greatly affects IQ. With that being said, considering that inbreeding gets as high as 50% in some countries, I think it's the cause of some of the problems at least. UK-born Pakistanis are only about 4% of the births, but they produce more than 30% of the genetically diseased children, and in many other European countries, they are represented in all the worst sorts of statistics: infant mortality, mental retardation, and general crappiness. Bear in mind that these are European countries that are, quite frankly, bending over backwards to cater to these people. I tell you these statistics not to be lurid, not to scandalize, but in the interest of knowledge and rectification. And as always, the first step to solving your problem is to admit that you have a problem. No population should be this goddamn inbred. And in the interest of peace and advancement for all peoples, I will say that ending the high rate of consanguinity will make those countries much better places. I don't think it's an example of me being some evil white colonizer forcing my culture on these innocent people to tell them, stop fucking your cousin. I would highly doubt that that's some great tradition of their culture, or any culture for that matter. And for the sake of public health, I think even the most bleeding heart leftist would be okay with me telling people to stop banging their kinfolk. I'm Larson Halleck, and I appreciate humanity in all of its splendor.